Who's Next show. You all know how we do here. We are usually focusing on the next artist, the next doctor, the next dentist, the next entrepreneur, the next congressperson. And every once in a while, we have very special guests like filmmakers and cast of film. So I'm very delighted to introduce to you all, we have the cast of Dry Places. Woo! So Theo, I'm gonna allow you all to introduce yourselves and tell all of the many roles and parts that you play in this production, and then we're gonna just dive right into our conversation.
Great to be with you today. Theo Bray, writer-director of Dry Places. I actually play a role in the film as well, so I'm glad to be here.
Yes.
Yes, I'm Cortina Jackson. I play the counselor, Stephanie, and kind of work some behind-the-scenes stuff as well. So very excited to be here.
You got that counselor voice. I almost laid on the couch when you said it. Said your name, almost laid down.
And I'm Courtney Johnson, and I play a role in this great film as well. I play Lisa, the tax preparer. So very awesome film.
Yes. So we're going to just jump right into just the conversation. I had the privilege of watching Dry Places, and I'm not going to tell y'all all of the everything. I'll give you an opportunity to get a few snippets, but just because we focus on Black culture here at the V Network, it's a privilege to be able to have Black filmmakers, a Black cast here in studio. So let's just talk about Dry Places. First off, like, where did the name even come from?
It was actually weird. It was born out of my own brokenness. Just going through seasons of life, realizing that I just can't do things without the Lord. Not that I was trying to, but then so it was a combination of my own journey and then other stories and other people that I knew that were walking through some challenges, and it was just, I just felt impressed by the Lord. Hey, I need you to do something, write something, say something to the people, speak to this. And so out of it,
came Dry Places.
Yep, absolutely.
The name alone, when you see that, you're like, I got to see what they talking about. What is this about? So, I love that because it's kind of like a biography and an autobiography between your life and other people's lives. It's true story without saying this is a true story. And it's full of emotional moments, impactful moments, ministerial moments, like all of those in one film. So great job on that. So kudos to you. Y'all got to watch it.
It took a whole team, so I'm grateful. Cortina Jackson was actually one of the contributing writers on the film as well, and I just try to utilize the talents of people around me, and I know that when God gives you an assignment, it's usually bigger than you.
Right. Yeah, I love that about you because you and I years ago, I don't know how many years back, Kayla.
Yeah, that was 2017.
Yeah, so that many years back, an opportunity to work with you, be a part of your film, just get some different credits and stuff like that.
It's still getting views. I got somebody that inboxed me today. Hey, I was looking at Kayla on Tubi, and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So they were excited about it.
Yeah, awesome. So let's talk about how you felt when you got the story. You always have to have someone that like you trust enough to be like, hey, this is my baby that I'm thinking about. Take a look at it. What do you think? Do you want to add something to it? All of those things. So when you got the storyline and even the opportunity to, like, how did that opportunity look for you to be take a part in writing or helping to write?
Well, I'm so blessed, to have the friendship that I have and that trust that has been built, where we were able to collaborate on a couple of great things. And so when he presented this story, it really resonated because being married before, I understood exactly, some of these dry places that people experience in marriages and relationships. And so the way that when I read the script, I was like, oh, this is going to be impactful because it's relatable, because people are experiencing this, because I even experienced this, so I understand completely where the story came from. And so when he allowed me in the script to play the counselor, I was like, that's what I do. Like, that's what I do anyway.
Is that like your life, your career?
It's not. I'm actually a motivational speaker.
I can tell.
Oh, thank you so much. So yes, I mentor a lot of women in domestic violence because that's a place that I've come from. And so I understood completely, you know, about some of these things in relationships that we take for granted, you know, taking each other as a couple for granted, and
Right.
just really understanding that. And so to come across as the counselor in this role, it
Right.
made it very easy to write that, because it's something I would say anyway. It's something I would do because I come from a place of understanding
Yeah.
and a place of God, and, you know, just kind of giving it a different perspective of
Yes.
the normal counselor.
Yes. So Courtney, I want to hear from you, but I got to talk about this. You said about how spouses sometimes take each other for granted. And I think about when in the movie, they're sitting at the table and he's like, I got a raise today. And nobody even, it's like the wife kept going and she went on to the next thing. I'm like, dang, nobody,
Yes.
we're not celebrating that daddy got a raise, baby, you got a raise. You know, so it was just those little small things that when we're in the hustle and bustle of life, if we don't watch it, we'll take those things for granted. And it does like start pushing a person away or create like dry patches and dry places in a relationship, you know, because now I can't come celebrate with you, you know, because this is the place that I'm supposed to be applauded. I'm the man of the house. I'm the breadwinner, and y'all, I got some more money coming in.
Right.
And everybody was on their own agenda, and that piece of the story was told so perfect. I was like, wait, what?
Exactly.
So I went back, because I do this, and I looked at the expressions of everybody at the table, and nobody cared that daddy got a promotion. Nobody cared that daddy got a promotion. You know, so to your point.
Yes, you know, unfortunately that happens. You know, even in relationships, for instance, you know, husband, you've seen him wear that shirt every day. He comes out of that same shirt. You've seen it a million times. Mm-hmm. You may not compliment it, but you know he may go out and get one compliment. Hey, nice blue shirt. And that just, you know.
Yeah, it's like I get, because, and this is a whole nother topic for a whole nother day, but I do believe that we as African-American women miss our opportunity to uplift kings.
Yes.
Like, you got a king that the Lord blessed you with a husband. You have this king right here, and you're so busy in, can you buy me this? We need to do this, blah, 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 that you miss the small opportunity to just say, dang, king.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Talk to 'em.
it's just a little. It just takes a little bit, and because I think, you know, it's not so much that he's looking to be loved. Okay, yeah, I know you love me,
Right.
but do you accept all of me, and do you appreciate just this little small thing? They got your edge up, looking like, dang, okay,
Right.
all right. You know, it's just
No,
those
seriously.
small little things that it doesn't take anything out of your whole day or your whole life just to uplift someone. You know, as a woman, I make sure that I'm like, all right, sis, you better
Right.
work that.
Right.
But at home, I can walk right past him and never be like, all right, babe. Yeah, so let's hear from you and your perspective when you read the script, because we're just on the script, right?
Right. And so a lot of people around me have been married. I am almost 40 years old, never been married, don't have any children. So the way it resonated with me as far as being single was very impactful, because I have been single for like, say, 10 years straight. So definitely with some dry areas, some dry places. And I was like, Lord, what is it that I am doing wrong? What is it that I'm not doing enough of? And God was like, you need to first be content with me. And then also you need to just be patient and wait for me to send instead of you going to get, because what I send you, it's going to be great. You're not going to have to,
Yeah.
you're not going to have to question anything. But so the part in this film that I play, which is the tax preparer, it's kind of like a comic relief, I think, for the
for sure.
for the film.
For sure.
But it definitely helped me as far as like the whole script in its entirety, helped me understand how I should view things and how I should do things, and what I shouldn't do, because it gives you both,
Right,
you know?
right.
So, but
Because the don'ts are unspoken, even if you don't see somebody saying don't do that. That don't is like right in your face. So, you know, we have these ministry moments sometimes on the Who's Next show, and I just want to take this moment to say to someone who's watching this, if you are married, don't miss that opportunity to appreciate the God-given gift that you have received. You know, good times and bad times, you said I do to it. So then cultivate it, appreciate it, celebrate it. Like, why not?
Yes.
You know, like, why not?
Right.
Absolutely.
What's the use of getting married?
No.
You know,
Exactly.
it's like you get a thing, you get a pass to do a whole bunch of things that single people can't do.
No, absolutely.
Yes, that's so true.
You got a license to do some stuff. So appreciate him or her while you doing the stuff that we can't do.
You know,
Absolutely.
you know.
So let's talk about just like the overall synopsis of Dry Places. Just kind of, let's unpack it.
Okay, so Dry Places centers around Omar Jacobs, devoted community man, family man, who he unexpectedly runs into an ex-lover. And so now he is left with this quandary of sorts, whether or not to succumb to the temptation or hold dear to the things that are, you know, valuable in his life, his family, you know, et cetera, et cetera. et
Even
cetera.
when being unappreciated and looked over and not treated like a priority. Keep going.
Yeah, so I mean that's the you know, in a nutshell. And I wanted to tell the story. I got a lot of as I was writing it, I sent it off to a lot of different people. Hey, give me your feedback, give me your input. And the number one thing that people kept saying was, I like the story, but I don't like the story. And I was like, what don't you like about the story? Well, I don't like the story because, you know, you tell it from a man's perspective. And I was like, well, these same stories are written from women's perspectives all the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we celebrate them. I was like, why can't this be
Right.
celebrated? And
Right.
so I told the story because it needed to be told.
You know, it's good that you even mentioned that, because when I was watching it, I wasn't necessarily watching it from like woman's eyes. Like I wasn't watching it like, oh, you know, all women not like that. I didn't look at it from like that. I looked at it like, what can we as the women species, you know, do differently? Because I just know that from experience, I'm 48 years old, praise the Lord, that I know how to tear one down.
Oh, yeah.
But have I done my role
Yes.
in building one up? You know, and so, and I think that because of experiences, we as women tear men down on accident sometimes. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm about to tear Theo down. No, it's like, I've been hurt 6 times since in 40 years or 30 years, whether it started with daddy
Yeah.
and, you know,
Yes.
or uncle or granddaddy or guardian, to the first 2-3 relationships that fail, that I'm losing the sensitivity
Yes.
in being able to appreciate. You know, and it could go both ways. We know that, like you said, the story is told all the time,
Sure.
you know, from a woman's point of view. But I didn't look at it with women's eyes, so it was great. So continue. Here it is.
No, so he has this this struggle, and he's not just a guy that just wants to go wild out or anything like that. But over time, so one of the things that I want to show with this story is that a lot of times, you know, people think that men cheat because they want sex.
Why do men cheat? No, I'm just kidding. I'm
And
just
so
kidding. Keep going, keep going.
I did, as I was writing the script, I did a lot.
sorry,
of,
keep going.
I did a lot of research, and I did a lot of study into the psychology of why people cheat.
Yeah, that's good.
And one of the things that I discovered was it was a desire for intimacy.
Yeah,
And so, you know, people confuse sex and intimacy
true.
oftentimes. But
Good.
so we highlight that in the story. So he's on this quest throughout the story for intimacy.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
if he wanted sex, he could have got that at home. you
Yeah.
know, but he was on this quest for intimacy, and sometimes people fall into the wrong arms.
that's true. You know, when you think about intimacy, talking on the phone creates intimacy without ever touching someone.
Absolutely.
Could create.
It
Yeah.
Could create.
It can.
You know, that's why as a counselor in the mentor type,
Right.
you know, motivational piece, we do know that all cheating is not sexual.
Right.
Sometimes it's these emotional relationships that get built on the outside because she now knows how to cater to. You supposed to be tutoring my child, but I'm looking at you.
Right.
Y'all gotta watch the film.
I know,
Just
I
watch the movie. You know, but again, she knew how to appreciate that you were brilliant in the film. She knew how to appreciate all the things that the wife was like, oh yeah, he's smart. I know. I married a smart man. Whatever. You know. Versus that parent, everything about him was like the stuff for, you know. And so those emotional relatietships can come from that and create a dry place in the other, but it's flowing on the other side.
No, it's true. It's true. Very true.
Yes.
Very true.
So what, you know, let me let you continue so that we can just.
Well, I mean, so I wanted to just pull that out, and then, you know, you see, and I don't want to give too much of the story away, but at the point that he comes into the tax office,
Yeah.
you know, at that point in his life and the arc of the story, he had checked out.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to even show that
Yeah.
you know, it's not just women that can check out in a relationship. He had checked out, you know, in the story. And so her character, the character of Lisa is so significant because she provided for him a necessary challenge in a moment where he had to look in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
And really, you know, see things for what they were, and to really, you know, ask himself the question: do I really trust God?
Yeah. Absolutely.
The way that I say
Yeah.
I do, because a lot of times we can give lip service to things, and
Absolutely.
you know, his faith had to be tested.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quite a test.
Go ahead. I can see you.
Yeah.
Quite a test. You know, we were talking about that intimacy and the sex piece. You know, I will just say, not all men cheat. Not all of them do that when confronted with what you would think a beautiful woman.
Right.
But sometimes what is lacking is that intimacy. You know, there's the term of having a work husband and a work wife, somebody you're always around.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of those, you know, sometimes bonds are formed because you don't have to live with that person 24/7. You're there at work.
Right.
You laugh at their silly jokes. You may just give a little nudge all the time,
Yeah.
hit them, you
Yeah.
know, and just, you know, just that little bit that, wow, she always laughs at my jokes. And,
Yeah.
you know, she cares. Like,
Yeah.
oh, do you need something to eat? You want me to grab you some lunch?
Yeah.
You know, those little things you begin to form, you know, those bonds, because everybody have basic needs, and love is definitely one of those needs where you want to be accepted and you want, you know, and so it's important at home, you know, to, as I said earlier, not to take those things for granted, because it's so easy. It's so easy to fall into, you know, into that, you know.
So I know that you all are wanting to watch it and so forth. What we're going to do is we're going to take a short break and allow you just to get a snippet of Dry Places, just enough to wet your palate, because you got to watch the whole movie. But stay tuned. Just take a look at it now.
What are you doing?
Man, come on.
Come on, what? We were already out the door, you said.
And we're on our way in the door because we gotta worship. Just 5 minutes, man. Come on.
No, I got you later.
You got me? Everybody don't have a perfect marriage. I feel invisible at home.
Something's going on that maybe you're not saying. I mean, are you okay?
It's like he can't, like he doesn't like me.
I don't want to be married like this.
Raquel Jones.
She'll be doing all the onboarding of the new candidates that are coming in. Also, she's gonna be working with Omar until she gets the ropes of how we do things around here.
My mind and my eyes are starting to wander. Not interested.
Wait.
The only perfect marriage is God's marriage to the church.
See, I told you all, I know y'all can't wait to see the whole thing, right? Well, we will definitely share the times where there's private screening still going on. We'll share that information. But when this movie releases, I guarantee you want to be in the place to see it. It was really good. So let's talk about Omar for a minute, because Omar, he is like the typical, he's the husband that people want. Right, and the reason why I say that is hardworking, you know, trying to stay in the family thing. Like, you could tell those moments that he's like fighting his flesh. You know, you could tell those moments when he's toiling with these decisions. But let's talk about, with you playing this role, you writing the film, and then also this is telling a portion of your true life, like your true story. So, like, some of those emotions, tell me how you felt in some of those cry emotions when the tears dropping for real, like, you know.
I mean, like, you know, I've had so many broken moments, you know, throughout my life. So when it was time to, you know, bring it to screen, it was easy.
Yeah.
So the tears, sometimes people will say, how are you able to just cry like that or whatever? And I'm like, I've seen many days of tears and, you know, broken moments and things like that. So how was it, the challenge, you know, playing him, it was a real challenge, because it forced me to, like, really see what can happen when you deviate from like, principles. And it doesn't matter who we are. You know, if, you know, even if you're writing a book, you're a writer, you know this, and you have a deadline by September 29th. I want to have this book done. But if, you know, every day you have a regiment of writing the book, that you're going to write 2 pages, and then if you take a week off, then you can throw your game off, and then all of a sudden some of the goals that you had, you know, they're just not as in view. As they were. You're not as motivated as you were, and then you have these reset moments. Yes. Where you got to get back on track.
Yeah. So, you know, just watching, I just in the car moments, you know, just those moments is kind of like we typically have in the car moments all the time, you know. So when you were on set and, you know, you're playing a part in it, you wrote a part in, you wrote portions or assisted in writing, but then you're also watching this unfold. Like, what were some of your thoughts, some of your emotions?
Oh gosh, you know, seeing everything portrayed, seeing it from the husband's perspective, seeing it from the wife's perspective, it really helped me to you know, it gave teaching moments. Even though, you know, we're watching this play out, and I'm, you know, kind of watching the scenes. You know, it was just so true to life, so relatable to what just people go through, that it was very much a teaching moment. That, wow, you know, there's some areas I could be better. You know, you discussed on how we need to raise up our kings and let them know you are appreciated, you are loved. You know, you're safe in this family, you're safe in this unit, you're safe in this house. You know, it kind of gave me, you know, kind of that, okay, so the next time, that's what the next time we won't make those mistakes. The next time, you know, this is how we can govern ourselves, you know, accordingly in the relationship. And so when it became time for me to do my scene, then I could take what I saw from his perspective and his brokenness, and I could really minister and deliver that scene the way that I did, because I watched it play out the whole time, watched it being unfolded, and then I knew exactly what to say to speak to those dry places and speak to that moment. And so you can feel the realness that when I'm talking to them because I know what I'm talking about. I'm talking to them because it happened. I'm telling you what I know. And it just really became, you know, just very real. So it's a nice opportunity to work behind the scenes and in front of the camera, but you really get to see it. And Theo does such an awesome job of really portraying real emotion. He's
Yeah.
an expert at that. He does really well. But because this came from a real place from him, it made it even that much more impactful and dynamic and
Right.
real. Yeah.
Right. Courtney?
You making me kind of emotional right now. I am in something new. It's brand new to me, and so a lot of this that we're talking about as far as the brokenness, he and I both have had some type of areas where we have both been broken, and so trying to learn how you said to speak to that person, how to talk to them, and then we're both on edge all the time, not want to say the wrong thing to trigger the other person. So what's most important in all of that is to make sure that our relationship with God is on point and where it needs to be.
Yeah.
Because being equally yoked is, of course, is so important. Keeping God at the center of everything is what's going to allow. You may have those rocky moments, you may have those dry places, but God is going to be the water to that. You know,
I love
so
it.
that's kind of what I look at when I saw this movie. I was like, man, this is real good, and it's so refreshing to see it come from a man's point of view.
Yeah.
Because my guy friend now, he's like, I've never had somebody to speak into my life, just to pour into me, to say, hey, you're doing a great job, or
Right.
you're going to be this, you're going to be that, and has down moments sometimes, but
Sure.
being able to minister to that person, being
Yeah.
able to pray for that person, because at
Yes.
the end of the day, although that physical, you may see that physical, but that spiritual is going to be where it's at. It's going to be most important, because when you're down and you can't get to that person right away, you got to know how to pray. You got to have somebody around you that knows how to lift you up and build you up in those areas that you're torn down. So
I love
Real
it.
stuff. Real
I
stuff.
love it. I love it.
Wow.
So, you know, one of the things you said was about if you don't deviate from the principles. And that's almost like, you know, we know that we're Christ-based, you know, we're Godhead-based. But in any religion,
Sure.
there are principles.
Sure.
And when you deviate against the principles, then you start knocking down your ability to stand, your strength, your stamina starts to dwindle. You know, everything, that's your strength, right? The principles, why does the Bible tell us to meditate on the principles? You know, we stand up on the principles. You know, we live the principles. The whole what would Jesus do? It was about the principles.
Right. Yeah.
And like you said, there's not a lot of people that live a lifestyle of the principles, because one of the principles for us to lift up each other is not related to a sexual relationship.
Right.
You know, our principle to pray ye one for another is not based on just my spouse.
Right.
You know, these are life principles that have been delegated to us to live by. So when you think about that, it becomes such an uncommon thing that people almost don't know how to take that. They almost feel like when you're building them up and you're catering to them, like you said, oh, it's that touch that, oh, she must be interested in me, or it must be some motive,
Right.
because it's such an uncommon thing. And that's a sad case for us.
True.
I'm speaking for the women now. Like, so that's a sad case, women, that when a man encounters someone that is just genuinely kind, that they're not sure if it's real. They think it's a motive. Or they think, you know, like, oh, what's wrong with you? You too nice. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, you really crazy on the other side. Like, you know, they looking for what's the flip side? What's that hidden thing? Because this too good to be true. And it's because it's so uncommon. Versus that should be the common thing.
Right. No,
Oh,
true.
it's so sad,
So
but
true.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
So we have Dry Places, and it's a beautifully written movie. Y'all did a great job with just writing it. Let's talk about shooting it. Like, one of the things that I noticed, just because I'm a film girl, was the drone footage of the neighborhood when it first starts. So let's just kind of talk about the shooting process. How did that go? How long did it take?
So I'll back up a little bit. The script writing, we started in, let's see, it was like December of 2019.
Okay.
We had our script locked by Valentine's Day of 2020.
Okay.
Because that was my goal. Back to those goals.
Right.
And so actually we had it before that, the final copy of the script. So we started shooting in June of 2020, right around COVID. So that was a challenge.
Right.
Because, you know, no matter how much I wanted to, you know, bring this thing to life, I care about my people more than anything.
Right.
And
right.
so I was like, I don't want nobody sick on my watch. I don't want.
Right.
It just wasn't that important. So we went ahead and we started in June, and then we had to take a hiatus because some more things came down.
Yeah.
And so we started back again, I think, at the end of July. And so we started back in the middle of July, and then we finished in July. So in total, the shooting took probably about a month and a half. A month to a month and a half to shoot.
That's really good, though.
Yeah.
It actually
And
was,
we had
yeah.
if you notice, like the office buildings and stuff that you see, the irony of that was we had a location that bailed out the last minute, and so there was a hotel that opened their doors, and because occupancy was so low, they said, you know what? I think for like a day and a half,
Yeah.
we had the entire hotel to ourselves.
Oh.
One problem though.
Just
It
one.
was in July. It was in Texas.
Uh-oh.
And so the sun decided to pull on the AC unit. And the AC unit went out
Ooh.
in the middle of shooting
Ooh.
in Texas, in July, in the heat.
So when you were sweating bullets, you weren't. That
It
wasn't.
was the
that,
real
That
deal.
was for real. Okay, I'm with you.
So I looked at my team and I was like, because I was getting ready to shut it down. I was like, man, I know we're gonna lose a production day. And they looked back at me and they said, no, let's do it.
Let's do it.
I was like,
Let's
y'all
keep
crazy.
going.
So we powered through.
That's awesome.
We
That's
powered
awesome.
through. Yeah.
Yep. So, what's next? Like, so you have the film. I know you've had some private screenings and launches. So, what's next for?
So we're still looking for other venues to do more private screenings.
Okay.
We do have a distribution agreement.
Okay.
So
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Whoop.
Thank you. So 3 to 4 months, look for it, video on demand. But in the
Awesome.
interim, like I said, we want to put it in more hands. We have, we're actually, I was a contributing writer on a project that we worked on together called Daddy.
Yes.
So
Daddy?
Yes.
That's coming.
My first film, and then he became the writer.
Congrats.
So
Yeah. So
Very
Awesome.
exciting.
That's what's
Yes.
supposed to happen, though.
yeah. So we
That's
got
what
we
we
got
do.
Daddy coming.
Awesome.
I have Blind Trauma,
yes.
which we did Blind Trauma. I thought it was just going to be one, but then when I wrote it, there was more juice in the storyline. So we
Yeah.
have now we have a Blind Trauma 2 and 3.
Oh, really? That's awesome. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
Working.
Congrats.
Yes.
So,
Absolutely.
I know that you said you're still looking to do like some private screenings
Yep.
and then the distribution. Is there any projections on where our viewing audience can see it? Or, like sometimes I know it's hush hush, and if it's still a secret, it's okay. We'll keep a secret and not
Yeah, I
tell.
think the distributor is still like shopping it, but
Okay.
but I'm pretty certain in about 3 to 4 months people will be able to see it on the likes of Tubi and some other outlets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
So I want to do a round robin. Any last words that you would like to share with our viewing audience when it comes to dry places?
Man,
Please.
you sure?
I want to hear from everybody, so you choose.
Edgy, faith-based film.
Yeah.
It will it will invade every area of your life and force you to, if you're somebody that is not healed from some things, it'll challenge you to deal with it. If you are healed, you'll probably be able to watch this movie with joy and wow, I'm just trying to think what else to be said. Dry places. What you got?
Dry places.
Dry places. You know what? The things that are worth keeping are worth fighting for,
Yeah.
and that rings true. We know dry bones will rise again, and we know
Yes.
dry places will also. You can. I was telling them earlier. You can glean. It may be a dry season. It may be dry places, but those moments, if it's worth fighting for, then there's that little bit of juice. There's that little bit of water,
Yes.
and that we can glean from those those moments to make it work, you know,
Yes.
and it's worth fighting for.
Yeah.
It's worth fighting for. And
That's
so,
good.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and I was
good.
going to say one other thing, just in life, but you know, specifically speaking to marriage in general. Oftentimes, the most overlooked person in a marriage is not your spouse, it's God.
Mm.
And so,
Drop the mic.
Whoa. Whoa.
That's good. It's Courtney.
So I'll say this. Almost every relationship starts off super nice, super dope, super great. Everything looks so good, and then when you get a few months in, you're like, okay.
Side eye.
Bored.
Yeah, flag here or there. But you have to really work at, like Cortina said,
Yeah.
if it's worth fighting for it, find that little ounce of whatever it was that was going on in the beginning that you love so much about that person. Think about those things. Because if you look at something for another second or you entertain something for another second, eventually that ain't gonna look
Yeah.
great months down the line.
Yeah.
And so, but you don't want to get yourself too caught up off in that. You want to make sure you focus on home. Focus
Yeah.
on home. So, Dry Places is a very good movie to go see. It definitely teaches you a lot as far as marriage and how to strengthen it.
Right. So, just because, let's just talk about the other cast members real quick. Let's just talk about the full cast. If you'll
oh my
just,
goodness.
if you'll just say something
There's so
about,
many of 'em.
yeah, so that you can,
Yeah.
you know, if you could just say something about them, the role they played, and why. Because even though they couldn't be here,
Yeah.
you know, this y'all did this.
Yes.
So, let's.
Cassandra Mills, who plays my movie wife, Melanie, that was actually her first time in front of a camera.
Oh, you couldn't tell.
And
She did a great
she
job.
did-
She
she
killed
did-
it.
she
yeah.
did.
Really
Amazing.
did. Yeah.
Cameron Patterson, who plays the husband of the mistress that Omar connects with in the story. He and I have worked together on several different projects, and he did an
Yeah.
amazing job. Cassandra Jackson, I want to say that was like her first. She's done other film, but I think that was her first lead role.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So she made that role memorable. And so in the writing, in the shooting, even if it was down to the delivery guy played by Matthew Simmons,
Yeah.
I tried to do everything I possibly could to showcase and highlight every person. A lot of times
Right.
when you see a film, you got a few shining stars and then
Yeah,
everybody else is just
that's
kind of
true.
dim. So I tried to do everything I possibly could to make sure that we all could shine.
And that's one thing about you, period. Just anybody who's worked with you, they know that you are big about, sharing the stage, sharing the light, sharing opportunities. So kudos to you, because that's what we have to be, when it comes to Black culture and Black film and Black excellence.
Sure.
So kudos to you all. Thank you all for coming. We got Dry Places.
Awesome. Thank you so
Dry
much for having us.
Places. Woo.
Awesome.
Thank you. So we'll see you next time. It's been Moments with Mona in the Who's Next show. Dry Places.